And while I was gone, I did grab my phone, so I'm now on Twitter. If you guys, if I'm making a mistake, if I say something incorrectly, definitely tweet at me at PulseIceman. I will correct it. Although I'm sure Andykins knows a lot more about the game than I do, so he'll be here to correct me too.
Yeah, if I get anything wrong, you can let me know at is Andrew Elite.
Okay.
And so as we can see in team preview here, Llany's rocking the double Genie combo, classic with Landorus and Thundurus.
Always.
Gastrodon with that Storm Drain ability. Sylveon, high damage output with Pixelate. Mega Venusaur, very good for stalling out opponents. And lastly, Conkeldurr, which is very good, like much like a tank Pokemon. Can take really good hits, deal that damage right back out.
His Conkeldurr has been doing so much work these past couple matches. Really just...
Yeah, just a lot of coverage on it, taking a lot of hits, and just really reliable on his end.
Breaking through those walls, too.
Yeah, and as we see, Llany opts for the Thundurus Conkeldurr lead. I think he has the advantage here against the Dragonite and Terrakion, but things could be interesting as JediSonic X revealed the Swords Dance on Terrakion and the Dragon Dance on Dragonite earlier.
Yes, so we do have a boosting team. Kind of interesting. You usually see boost moves more prominent in singles, but Dragon Dance is something I've hardly ever seen in doubles, except maybe on men's.
Wow, and the Stone Edge picking up the critical hit, one-hit knockout on Thundurus. That's going to be huge for JediSonic X.
Oh, yes.
Just really making sure that Thundurus isn't doing too much damage to his team with paralysis.
Wow, and did you see that? When Llany used knockoff, it revealed that JediSonic's Dragonite's item is actually an Enigma Berry.
An Enigma Berry.
Which I think heals you if you're hit by a super effective move one time.
Okay. Truth be told, I don't know what that item does, and I've never seen it in this format.
It's very, very strange, because I think you still take the move damage, but then you heal a little bit after that.
Yeah.
Never seen it before, but I don't know.
I think something like Citrus Berry may be a little better. Like Dragonite's item of choice usually is Lumberry or Weakness Policy.
Yes.
Especially with the multi-skill, it can really optimize high damage. And we see him go for the Iron Head and Gastrodon, but he's just going to take that Ice Punch, not very well. Picks up the knockout.
Without that multi-scale, Dragonite is not going to be able to take ice moves at all.
And we suddenly see Llany put himself in a really good position.
Oh, yeah. No chance of Scald breaking this Sash with Burn, as Terrakion is already paralyzed.
And he goes for the Sacred Sword. Pretty good option. Most people opt for close combat to do more damage, but I guess he doesn't want to deal with the defense and special defense drop from close combat.
Yeah, JediSonic's Terrakion honestly looks like a singles Terrakion. With Swords Dance, Stone Edge over Rock Slide, and Sacred Sword.
You know, now that you mention it, it's really looking like a singles team, but getting this far in the tournament, obviously it's working out for
obviously it does have a lot of strengths in doubles, but, I mean, this man also has Greninja.
Yeah.
He has Dragon Dance Dragonite. So, I don't know.
And we see the Mach Punch on the Greninja. Greninja's going to take that, and we're going to see the Grass Knot.
Yep.
And it should pick up the knockout on this Gastrodon with the same type attack bonus from Protean.
I mean, if Cresselia was doing half with non-stab Grass Knot, I can only imagine Greninja could probably one-shot it.
Oh, yeah. We see the Sacred Sword just getting some safe damage on Conkeldurr. Now, I think it would have been better on Llany's end if he went for the Drain Punch on the Greninja, because that surely would have picked up the knockout.
Yeah, I think he thought Mach Punch would have one-shot it. Honestly, I'm a little surprised that it did not.
Yeah, I think it might be because he's opting for the Guts ability instead of Iron Fist.
Yeah, he definitely is, because in his game 1 against Nagashi, he was able to one-hit KO Excadrill with a Mach Punch when he was paralyzed. Then later on, he used a Mach Punch when he was not paralyzed, and it did not one-hit KO.
Okay.
And he lived with too much HP for it to be a damage roll.
Oh, and I can see why he went for the Mach Punch now, because that way it activates before Protean changes its typing.
Oh, yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we have a very interesting setup here. Landorus, did it already lock into a move? If not, then I'm not sure what it would go for, because going for the Earthquake, I'm pretty sure Conkeldurr is Assault Vest, and it would not take that very well.
Yeah.
So Mawile is actually looking to be in a very good position right here, being
Yeah.
a pretty hard counter against Conkeldurr. And even though it doesn't usually win against Landorus, with that Sucker Punch, it's usually a decent check to it.
Mawile has a very nice way. Ooh, Sucker
Yeah,
Punch.
it does
the
go
mix-up.
for the Sucker Punch, and does not pick up the knockout. But I'm really not sure if Llany can win this with Conkeldurr and Landorus unless he picks up a few timely flinches with Rock Slide, which we very well have seen before. And that Drain Punch not really doing all too much damage. It's probably going to be a 3-hit knockout, assuming the damage rolls go his way.
As opposed to Play Rough, which will probably be a 1-hit knockout.
Yep. So definitely it's going to be close here, but I think JediSonic X, I'm going to give him the advantage.
Yes. I don't know, maybe a crit on Drain Punch?
Yeah, like, and if followed up by a Mach Punch, of course.
Yeah,
So,
maybe.
But Mach Punch
Or
definitely is not going to pick up at that range.
Or maybe a miss from Play Rough.
But we also haven't seen the speed tiers revealed yet, with both of them using priority moves.
That's true.
So, like, we could see Conkeldurr actually move first, and it does.
Wow. I would be inclined.
Oh, but it does not pick up the knockout. So if Play Rough connects, I think this is going to be game.
Oh no, that was
a void.
That was a 10% chance.
Wow, and this really was like a pretty hacks-free game outside of that. So
Alright.
really unfortunate for JediSonic X.
That
We'll
was
see
so
if he can
unfortunate.
pick it up for game 2.
That's just the nature of Pokemon sometimes.
Yeah, but I am surprised that he went for the Drain Punch there instead of the Mach Punch, because he really was risking the loss there.
Yeah.
If Mawile had gone for Play Rough the last turn, then he would have had another 90% chance to win.
Yeah, well, provided Mawile went first.
Well,
It would have had to be a speed tie.
That's true.
And, like...
I think it's worth to go for that, though, because there's no way Sucker Punch would have knocked out at that range.
Yeah, might as well.
So...
The odds are low, but it's a possibility.
Yeah. Like, even if the odds are low, if the odds are low and better than 0, it's still better to go for those odds.
Absolutely.
So we're going to see Llany may adjust here, because I don't think he felt too comfortable in this matchup, having it go so close, even with the win. I'm sure he's really happy about that win, but I think we're going to see adjustments on both ends here.
Yeah, especially since that had that Play Rough hit.
Mm-hmm.
It could
For sure.
Could have spelled defeat.
So last match we saw Landorus, Thundurus, Conkeldurr, and Gastrodon on Llany's end, and I haven't seen a Sylveon all day. I'm curious what set it runs, but I think it might be able to do work against JediSonic's team, having the Greninja and the Terrakion on it.
Yeah, I think so. Hyper Voice is just...
Yeah,
I've never seen such like an explosive move before.
Oh yeah, like
it's
especially for being a spread move, how powerful it is.
Yeah.
And like it's not like Rock Slide where it can miss. You know, you're guaranteed to get those hits, really heavy damage.
Yep. And Fairy is a type that not a whole lot of types of Pokemon resist.
And we do see the Sylveon, but JediSonic adjusting just as well, trapping both of the opponents and having the Mawile being able to deal heavy damage to both of these Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I'm really like what we're seeing from both of the players here.
I think this lead is very creative.
Yeah.
The Wobbuffet and the Mawile, just because you're trapping them in with the Intimidate.
Yeah. And then, like, as opposed to singles where you're just trapping one Pokemon, you now have a partner Pokemon that can really abuse those trappings. And that's one of the reasons why Shadow Tag is by far one of the best abilities in the doubles format.
Absolutely. And we are going to see a switch out from Wobbuffet, but of course Wobbuffet was on the field first turn, so these Pokemon are still locked in for this turn. We're not going to see any switches from Llany.
Very true. And we do see the Protect on Sylveon, so not opting for that Choice Spec set. So it may have a Pixie Plate or a Life Orb, but a pretty dead turn here as Thundurus goes for the Taunt on Terrakion.
Yeah, Llany doesn't want to risk that Swords Dance.
Yep. But, I mean, I think he was going for the Taunt on Wobbuffet, just because...
Oh, you're right. But it does reap benefits regardless because of the sword stance.
But either way, I think Llany is pretty happy to see that Wobbuffet go, because now he's able to switch his Sylveon fairly safely into that Landorus, getting the double Intimidate.
Yeah, he definitely did not want the... He didn't want the...
Yeah, he's really
the
wanting
Sylveon
to...
in on the Mawile.
He's really wanting to conserve that and really showing that with his plays.
Yeah, that being said, he probably didn't want the Wobbuffet in because of Taunt.
Yeah, so both these players really adjusting, making good switches. But Llany definitely has a better position here, facing down two slower Pokemon with a very powerful Earthquake. And there we see it. JediSonic X just opting to leave his Pokemon in against it. I'm not sure I agree with this play, especially with that, a crit on Mawile. I'm not sure if that mattered, but the damage still would have been very heavy. And Thundurus is just going to be able to outspeed that paralyzed Terrakion and pick up the knockout.
Yep. 4-2 advantage right now.
Yeah, so Llany's really liking his position here. He's got that flying Landorus next to that, or flying Thundurus next to that Landorus that's locked into Earthquake. So the ending here, looking pretty safe for him.
And now we're going to see Dragonite and Wobbuffet. This is not the best anchor, in my opinion, but these Pokemon also do have an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Dragonite carries Dragon Tail, meaning JediSonic can force Llany to switch.
Yeah.
Llany cannot switch himself. So JediSonic does have a ton of command over Lonnie's team.
Oh yeah, but it is pretty interesting. Mirror Coat and Counter are both attacking moves, so he is going to be able to do a safe counter on this Landorus if he opts for that.
Oh, are they? They're not affected by Taunt?
No.
No, okay. So not as threatening as I initially thought.
Yeah, but it is still like, it takes away his Encore option, which definitely, as he goes for there, that really forces the opponent to make sure that he knows that he's going for either a special or physical move, making the Mirror Coat or Counter much safer.
I think he was really expecting a Thunder Wave onto the Dragonite first, just because Dragonite is so threatening, limiting
Especially
it immediately.
Dodging that Earthquake, like,
yes.
Landorus is definitely hating his position right now.
However, Prankster is going to allow him
Very
to...
powerful.
Prankster is going to allow him to go first.
Yeah. And now that Dragonite is going to be slower than both of its opponents, and the full paralysis to boot. So,
however, the counter on Landorus.
Yep, and as we see, it does go through the taunt. So, interesting choice though. I think it would have been I think it might have been better for JediSonic X to try to KO that Thundurus, so that way Landorus is locked into Earthquake against its opposing team.
I agree.
So
now Sylveon, huge threat.
Yeah, facing down two slower Pokemon, Hyper Voice, it's going to deal a lot of damage.
That being said, I don't think it can one-hit KO Dragonite because of multi-scale.
Have we seen multi-scale today on it? Or are we...
I mean...
I would think that it has it.
What's its other move? Inner Focus?
Inner Focus.
Other ability.
And I do not remember the last one, I'm sorry. But
I've got to imagine that it's running multi-scale.
But we do see the Thunderbolt breaking the multi-scale, and Sylveon opting for the Shadow Ball. So, not wanting to use Hyper Voice.
No Hyper Voice.
I guess...
oh, he might be afraid of Mirror Coat.
Yeah. Which, it does make a lot of sense, because ignoring that Wobbuffet basically makes it a dead slot on the team.
Yes. Yep.
So, like, very good play from Llany. And from here, I think he can safely Hyper Voice if he wants to, and Thunderbolt. And if that doesn't pick up the Wobbuffet, there's really no way the Wobbuffet can continue on and take on a 3v1 situation.
Yes. Wobbuffet is not an anchor.
Yep, and the Hyper Voice does pick up the double knockout, and Llany taking it to 2-0.
Yes. Very, very well played by Llany.
Yeah, and he does reveal the Life Orb just as a to-go gift, and so now JediSonic X does know why that Hyper Voice dealt a whole ton of damage even without a Choice Specs option. So I really did like Llany's adjustments quite a bit. I'm not sure if JediSonic X is going to go for the Wobbuffet play again because even though it was threatening with the Shadow Tag, Thunderous's taunt ability really limited how he's able to utilize it against the other players.
Yeah.
But Llany opting for the Sylveon Genie's combos, really safe, really powerful. I will not be surprised if he goes for the same thing again. And the battle is underway.
Again, the ever so important turn 1.
Yep. And here we have the leads. Gastrodon and Thundurus for Llany's side, and JediSonic X opting for Terrakion and Greninja. So Llany definitely has a position here where the Thunder Waves are pretty free, but I'm not sure if he's going to risk that considering you saw the damage output on that Stone Edge from Terrakion.
Yeah, and Greninja threatening Gastrodon with Grass Knot too.
Yeah, so I think I won't be surprised if I see a switch into Landorus here from Llany's side, which will be fairly safe, but because he's facing down 2 Pokemon that have shown to just deal heavy damage and definitely have the ability to one-hit KO both of his Pokemon. But he does just opt for the Thunder Wave, so he's definitely valuing that Prankster Thunder Wave, hoping for that full paralysis over the switches.
Yep. Now we'll see if this Grass Knot is powerful enough to one-hit KO.
Ooh.
Not quite.
All right. So Gastrodon, assuming that it isn't doubled into by the Terrakion, it's going to be able to do some heavy damage here. And Thunder's Stone Edge shown to KO without the critical hit.
Thunderous cannot say the same.
Yep.
Goes down.
So we'll see if that paralysis will pay its dividends later in this match.
Okay, that was well played from Llany.
Oh,
he
yeah.
knew that the Grass Knot was coming, and so he Ice Beamed onto the Greninja.
And that was very bold of him to know that the Grass Knot was not going to KO his Gastrodon either, even with the same type attack bonus.
Yep.
So really impressed by Llany's play here.
He definitely knows his stuff.
Oh yeah. But now we have Sylveon against a slower Terrakion with Focus Sash and a Greninja, which I don't think can do all too much to it. So Sylveon is going to really put Llany in a really good position here with just a press of a Hyper Voice.
That being said, JediSonic is at a 4-2 advantage, but that's about to change. Terrakion hanging on with its Focus Sash. But
Do you think that crit mattered?
do I think that crit mattered? Was it a crit on Terrakion or Greninja?
Greninja.
Greninja was Grass type and like at half health, right?
It is at like a quarter health.
I don't think so. Not
Yeah,
with Life
I
Orb.
don't either. But
Even if it's a defensive Sylveon.
Yeah.
Well, if it was a default, if it's a defensive Sylveon, I don't know why it's running Life Orb.
yeah, we have seen some weird sets in the past, though.
That's true. I mean, we've got a Wobbuffet.
It's true. First time I've ever seen one playing. I don't know, 5 years now. And we do have the Landorus out, and it's going to have to opt for one of its moves. I don't think it's going to want an Earthquake here.
No, because it's threatening its own
Yeah.
teammate. Even though Earthquake would be a huge asset right now,
Yeah.
it just can't risk it. However, with the Intimidate, it may be enough to do once, not do a whole ton to the Sylveon because it's intimidated.
Yeah,
Get
so
some
that's
good damage on Mawile.
Sylveon going for the Protect. So,
Oh, okay, so he did Earthquake.
Okay. I actually do like this play from Llany's side. He isn't really risking all too much, especially if he guesses correctly what his last Pokemon is. And I don't think he had much for Mawile outside of the Earthquake, so it was probably his safest bet. And the Intimidate really paying off here as Landorus taking that Sucker Punch like a champ, and Mawile taking the Earthquake as well. So we have an interesting position here as Earthquake now threatens Mawile and his own Sylveon on Llany's side, and Dragonite avoiding that Earthquake.
Pokemon on... Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
The Pokemon on the right side are going to be they're going to be affected by Intimidate. The Pokemon on the left are not. Dragonite has revealed that it has Iron Head.
Yep. Which is an interesting option, but I think it might pay off for him here.
Yes, yes.
We do see the Iron Head on the Landorus. I do not agree with that play, but Llany's just going to take that and run with it to the bank with that Hyper Voice.
Yep. Wait, that has to tell me that he has multi-scale. Yep.
Yep.
That's got to be
Guaranteed multi-scale.
And the Enigma Berry.
Yep.
Oh, wow, that healed a pretty good amount.
I think that's 25%, so probably citrus amount. So this comes down to whether or not Llany has the quick attack and if whether or not Iron Head is going to KO.
I think it might, with how much it did to that Landorus, and it is JediSonic X going to take a game. Got a little bit of momentum now.
Yeah, very good adjustments, and we're pushing it to game 4. This has been a really strong set so far, and good adjustments from both players. And I'm just excited to see what they're going to come up with next.
Yep.
And we can hear the players picking their Pokemon quite fast here, so
yes,
I think they both have in their heads what they might want to do. Although Llany, oh, yep, like, that was what, 13 seconds?
Something like that. I always take forever to pick my Pokemon. I'm like looking at their team and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Do I have anything that shuts it down completely?
It's like, well, this one beats this, but loses really hard to this one.
I psych myself out with leads because it's like, oh, they led with this one, so are they going to mix it up or are they going to lead with the same Pokemon?
Now, I'm kind of surprised Llany going for the same leads here. I think opting for a Landorus lead would have been a bit safer, just getting that immediate Intimidate and the immediate threat with both either U-Turn or Earthquake, which he revealed earlier on stream. And the U-Turn would actually be a really good choice against JediSonic's team. If he happens to lead the Wobbuffet, they can just U-Turn out of there and avoid that Shadow Tag.
Which Pokemon of his has U-Turn? Lando?
Lando, yeah.
Lando.
And a Scarf, so it will move faster than the Greninja and the Tracheon.
Scarf Landorus, very threatening.
Yep. But Llany does just opt for that Paralysis again. I'm not sure if he's just going for the Paralysis rolls, but either way, a very good adjustment to switch into Sylveon here, which is sitting pretty against Greninja and Terrakion.
Yeah, I
and
think
we do see the Stone Edge, and it does connect, and we'll probably see a one-hit knockout.
No!
And Thundurus survives, so we have a lower damage roll. So very interesting to see that Stone Edge was not a guaranteed KO on that Thundurus, and it definitely makes the set a lot more interesting.
Yeah. The Sylveon switch was smart by Llany. I think JediSonic expected him to do the same thing again, stay in, take the Grass Knot, land an Ice Beam. But he definitely did not want that damage on his Gastrodon again.
Okay. And we do see the Thunder Wave onto the Greninja. Llany really valuing just the speed control here.
Yes. So important, especially when you have such a powerful Pokemon like Sylveon with a spread move like Hyper Voice. Having Sylveon itself isn't very fast, so having the opponent paralyzed so that it can go first and deal this massive damage, it's amazing.
It really is. And we have seen the Conkeldurr on Llany's side too, also able to take advantage of that speed control. So Sylveon now on a timer here. It's going to knock itself out from Life Orb damage, and it looks like about 3 turns. 3 turns? But that might be all it takes with Hyper Voice damage. But we do see Dragonite here. Very good choice with the multi-scale, the Dragon Dance, and the Iron Head to threaten the Sylveon.
Yes. And Dragonite should still be faster than Sylveon.
Yep. Llany does not have his speed control anymore, but I am assuming that he still brought Landorus in the bag, which has been a pretty safe pick against JediSonic X's team.
Oh yeah, for sure. Greninja is a huge threat to it, but it seems like he's never had to worry about Greninja meeting Landorus.
Yeah. And I am a bit surprised to see the Ice Beam on Dragonite's side. I do understand breaking the multi-scale. Oh, but the Stone Edge on the Gastrodon, I think going for a Sacred Sword would have been a lot better and safer as it never misses.
And I think it would have been stronger just because Stone Edge is resisted, right?
Yeah, it is resisted by Ground type. Gastrodon's Ground Water type is actually a very strong type in the game, being only weak to grass types.
Which is not a very common offensive type.
Like usually for grass moves, it may be plopped onto a Crest as we've seen earlier, Volcarona, and mostly Amoonguss, which we haven't seen much of today.
And Venusaur.
Yeah, and Venusaur. So
Alright, Ironhead onto Landurus.
Not doing too much damage, and Ice Beam is definitely going to pick up the knockup here on Dragonite.
Yeah, I think he might have just been looking for a flinch there, but
Yeah.
it's not going to matter at all.
I mean, it's probably his best option considering he had to lock himself into a move.
Yes.
And going for an Earthquake on his own Pokemon, not always the best option. So we do see Mawile facing down, a Landorus Seed locked into Rock Slide, only able to really do chip damage and possibly flinch it, and a Gastrodon, which has that Earth Power, able to deal a lot of damage.
Yes, especially since Mawile it's looking to take the physical moves. It doesn't want to deal with special attacks, so...
Yep, especially with that Intimidate. So Llany's position here, looking really good.
Yeah, especially since Rock Slide, it does have the single target damage, which is going to mean it's going to do a bit more, and it does have the chance to flinch.
Gastrodon does move first, and it picks up the knockout. So Llany's going to take the set 3-1. Very well played on his end, and good effort by JediSonic X as well.
Yeah, very entertaining set.
So we're on to Grand Finals now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Grand Finals. That'll be you versus Llany.
All right.
I think that's a rematch, right, from Winter Semis?
It is, yep. That was